Right now at 3, a wild water rescue caught on video. Hear from the police officers who saved a woman and her child from a raging flood as the threat of more heavy rain continues across Southern California. The public gets its first chance to pay its respects to Queen Elizabeth. We're live in London with the outpouring of royal support as Prince William and Prince Harry reunite in their grief. And we are just 2 hours away from the Primetime Emmy Awards, live right here on NBC4. We're going to take you to the gold carpet where the stars are starting to stroll in.
The NBC4 News at 3 starts now.
And good afternoon to you, everybody. I'm Michael Brownlee. We begin here at 3 o'clock with the weather. Potential flash floods in the mountains and an incredible rescue caught on video to show you just how dangerous these conditions can be. Three police officers rushed to rescue a family. Good afternoon to you, everybody. I'm Michael Brownlee. We begin here at 3 o'clock with the weather. Potential flash floods in the mountains and an incredible rescue caught on video to show you just how dangerous these conditions can be. Three police officers rushed to rescue a family from that fast-moving floodwater in San Bernardino. Dramatic moments when the mother slipped while trying to hold one of her children. Body cam footage captures the moment one officer catches the other child. Yesterday, those officers responded to a domestic call in the pouring rain when the floodwater came out of nowhere.
At the point where I almost couldn't even, keep my ground. So I think at that moment, we all just had to kind of rely on each other just to, stay up and get these people out as soon as possible.
Just to grab the kid first and try to hold on to the mom. The kid was scared, he was crying, so I just let him know that everything's gonna be okay, he's safe now.
Listen to this here. All three officers are rookies, only with the department for less than a year. Without any flood water rescue training, these officers say their instincts kicked in to help pull that family to safety. Meanwhile, in Lake Hughes, cleanup continues after mudslides over the weekend. Caltrans now working to clear Pine Canyon Road after yesterday's storms trapped cars and forced other risky rescues.
We were terrified. The people had told us that the rain had took a mom and 2 kids, so automatically the guys were on flight mode. They went to go search and there were helicopters so close down. Thankfully they did find the mom and the baby and the toddler on top of their car. It was terrifying. It was so terrifying.
Yeah, Stephanie Diaz says the storm peaked last night at 7:30. Heavy rain triggering mud, rock and debris flows right outside of her front door. The CHP says about 50 people were rescued from 24 cars, some of them buried in mud. Thankfully, everybody made it out okay. Earlier today, some of them returned hoping to get their vehicles out of all the muck.
Oh, you can see. Got to do it by hand. Can't really use a tractor or anything because you might.
In this area, we've actually received about 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rain over in the Apple and El Dorado burn scar areas there. To the north, over in Barstow, we do have a cluster of storms, pockets of heavy rain, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're seeing some small hail here, but we do have flash flood warnings in effect in these spots as well, and a couple of isolated showers, moderate to heavy rain at times over in Wrightwood, and also throughout parts of the LA County mountains at this time. We'll continue to track the wet weather as we continue into the next couple of hours. More coming up in just a little bit. Michael?
All right, Stephanie, we'll see you then. Thanks. Well, for the first time since her death, a grieving Commonwealth had its chance to say a personal goodbye to Queen Elizabeth today. And as night falls in Scotland, thousands are still filing past her confidence site, St. Giles Cathedral, where Her Majesty is lying in state for 24 hours before making her final trip to London. Robert Voskett live in London for us as mourning continues across the UK and Commonwealth.
And Michael, while this national mourning does continue, there is also elaborate plans that we are watching in place. Elaborate plans that were put in place years ago under the codename Operation London Bridge. However, they needed to alter Operation London Bridge to include Operation Unicorn. Those plans for what happens if the Queen should die at Balmoral, the Scottish castle that is one of her favorite royal residences. So as you take a look at this live picture, Scotland has been the focus since the Queen's death at the castle last Thursday, and the people of Scotland have been the first to say goodbye. What her successor son calls the Queen's last great journey begins here. The procession from Holyrood House, the official Scottish residence of the monarchy, to the heart of the Scottish capital. Queen Elizabeth's 4 children walking behind the hearse as it slowly proceeded down Edinburgh's historic Royal Mile. Inside St. Giles Cathedral, a service of thanksgiving. The 16th century crown queen's last great journey begins here. The procession from Holyrood House, the official Scottish residence of the monarchy, to the heart of the Scottish capital. Queen Elizabeth's 4 children walking behind the hearse as it slowly proceeded down Edinburgh's historic Royal Mile. Inside St. Giles Cathedral, a service of thanksgiving. The 16th century crown of Scotland, made for James V, placed on top of the coffin, draped in the royal standard of Scotland. Queen Elizabeth was always a proponent of UK cohesion, but support for Scottish independence has never been higher. A referendum could come next year. After the service, King Charles III addressed the Scottish Parliament.
My mother felt, as I do, the greatest admiration for the Scottish people, for their magnificent achievements and their indomitable spirit. The knowledge of that deep and abiding bond must be to us a solace as we mourn the end of a life of incomparable service.
And this again is a live look at St. Giles, where the vigil is underway, a 24-hour vigil. And it's a look at the steady stream that heads into the cathedral, filing past the coffin after going through airport-like security. One estimate right now from Edinburgh is that the queue is over a mile long, and it will not end until the Queen returns to London later tomorrow. Michael?
Robert, before we let you go, how can people here in Southern California and around the world honor the Queen's memory?
Michael, this Sunday, the day before the Queen's state funeral, across the UK, there will be a national moment of reflection. 1 minute of silence all across this country. The Prime Minister saying that friends and families can gather, or people can just be home alone for that minute of silence. If you would like to join in, it is going to be at 8 o'clock at night here in the United Kingdom. That would be noon back in Southern California.
All right.
We are live this evening here in London. Michael, when we see you next hour, in a day full of extraordinary and historic sights, we have another one to share with you.
All right, looking forward to that, Robert. Thank you. And coming up live at 3:30, the NBC Nightly News takes a look at the royal reunion between Princes William and Harry, the history of royal relationships, and what the palace is now asking the public to stop leaving at memorials for the Queen. Well, the traveling nurse accused of speeding through a red light and causing a deadly chain reaction crash in Windsor Hills will stay in jail. Earlier today, a judge denied bail for Nicole Linton. In fact, this is new video of her in court. 6 people were killed in that fiery crash in August, including a pregnant woman, her infant son, and unborn baby. 8 other people were injured. Linton was hospitalized after the crash. She is charged with murder, vehicular manslaughter, and gross negligence. Well, the search is on here this afternoon for a killer after 2 teenage boys were shot dead at a street carnival in Lincoln Heights. Hundreds of families were out enjoying what was supposed to be a fun event when the gunfire erupted last night. The LAPD says a gunman walked up to the 15 and 17-year-old victims and shot them. They died at the scene. The shooter disappeared into the crowd. Detectives say there were no weapons found in the area. So far, no description of the shooter. Well, next here at 3 o'clock, fire sweeps through an historic church where Martin Luther King Jr. once preached from the pulpit. Coming up, the key pieces that survived the flames. And put a cork back in that champagne, Dodger fans. Why the team's trip to the postseason isn't quite a done deal just yet. And speaking of popping bottles, here's our girl, Melissa.
Hey there, Michael. We are live on the red carpet, or this year it is the gold carpet, as we're getting ready for the 74th Primetime Emmy Awards. A lot of celebrities lining the carpet. We've already seen RuPaul and Steve Zahn from White Lotus. The activity will just continue on as we go throughout the rest of the night. We've got the stars, the statues, and some surprises all coming up.
And I put off my mammogram since the...
And Dodger fans don't celebrate a trip to the postseason just yet. The team toasted what they thought was a 10th straight playoff berth. And Dodger fans don't celebrate a trip to the postseason. season just yet. The team toasted what they thought was a 10th straight playoff berth yesterday in San Diego, but it turns out there's still a chance the Dodgers might not make it. All right, listen to this. If they lose their last 23 games and the Milwaukee Brewers win their last 21, the teams could tie. Now, the Dodgers can punch their ticket with a win in Arizona today. If they don't win tonight, they can clinch with a win or a Brewers loss tomorrow. Got all that? Starting today, you can catch the NBC Nightly News live with Lester Holt every day on NBC4 at 3:30. And Lester joins us live right now from 30 Rock with a preview. Hey, Lester.
Well, I'm actually still trying to do the math on your baseball playoff.
You don't need both, man.
We'll pick that up later. I'm just going to believe you.
Take
All
that
right,
word
Michael,
for it.
congratulations to you and the entire NBC4 team on your newest newscast. I'll be joining you live next right here on a very busy Monday. We're going to go to Ukraine for the sudden and stunning advance against Russia. And tonight, as people wait for hours in line to say goodbye to the Queen, we're in Jamaica looking at the difficult history of Britain's former colonies. Michael.
Now, Lester, I know you'll be headed to London for the Queen's funeral.
Yeah, I'll be heading over the weekend. Monday, of course, the funeral. It is a very long process that we've been watching. In fact, what we saw in Scotland today, the procession, that was actually the plans agreed to and by the Queen herself. She was very active in the planning. So we'll be seeing reporting from there beginning next weekend.
As always, Lester, great to see you, and we look forward to this, banter every now and then here on the NBC4 News at 3 o'clock. Safe travel soon.
All right, sounds good.
All right, you can catch Lester on the NBC Nightly News live next at 3:30, followed by the NBC4 News at 4 o'clock. And we want to give you this live picture here of the Microsoft Theater in downtown Los Angeles, where the Primetime Emmy Awards kick off at 5 o'clock right here on NBC4. We're with the gold carpet arrivals coming up next. All right, folks, it's TV's biggest night. We're about an hour away from the 74th Primetime Emmy Awards hosted by SNL's Kenan Thompson. Some stars already making an entrance in front of the Microsoft Theater in downtown Los Angeles, and that's where we find Melissa McGee. Things are really heating up on that, not red, but gold carpet, huh?
Yeah, that's right, Michael. And I mean, there is so much excitement. As you mentioned, this year it's not red. We have a bit of some gold carpet, and I'm already seeing a lot of celebrities make their way closer to the theater. We've already seen Ben Stiller. I saw RuPaul as well, and a lot of people making their way. You can see right behind me, we've got Connie Britton from White Lotus. She plays Nicole in that role, and she's actually coming on up. Hi, Connie. A pleasure to meet you.
You're gorgeous and you're green.
Thank you, as do you.
A strong color.
Yes.
A strong woman, strong color.
That's right.
That's right.
Very strong in your color. White Lotus, 25 nods this year. You play Nicole. What is it about this show that makes it a fan favorite?
I mean, listen, I think that you start with great writing, and this show in particular really was able to start a cultural conversation, and people love when they get to have to think about themselves and about the people around them, so I think it really brought all of that out.
Now
and it's entertaining.
Absolutely.
About themselves and about the people around them, so I think it really brought all of that out.
Now
and it's entertaining.
Absolutely. And you are a TV veteran, I will say. Friday Night Lights, Nashville. Are you starting to see a trend with the mix of streaming television and a lot of veterans on the stage mixing up with television and movies too?
Yeah, you know, it's so interesting. The world, as we all know, has just, it's all merged together now. And I mean, I'm really rooting for good old-fashioned movies in the movie theater, because I feel like that's much harder to find. But the upside, I guess, is that there is really a lot of crossover, and people are getting to work in all different platforms, and that's exciting.
Well, we're excited for White Lotus tonight. Thank you so much, Connie, for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a really fun night.
Thank you. You too. Just lovely. A strong woman, a strong color. Go ahead, Connie. That's right. And you know what, guys? There are a lot of firsts as well. So we're going to get into the details. First-time nominees coming up. But the Emmys, they start at 5 o'clock right here on NBC. And, of course, you could stream it on.
Are in effect until 10 o'clock tonight because of the rain and thunderstorms, some heavy downpours causing some issues. And like I mentioned, some spots already picking up about 1 to 2 inches of rain in a short period of time. Let's check out what's in store as we continue this evening. So still looking at some showers and storms over parts of the IE as we head just around 6:30 or so. We'll be quieting down for the most part, looking a little bit better as we head into late tonight. We do have the onshore flow. We have that marine layer in place, and some folks waking up to some low clouds and fog over the basin, Orange County, parts of the IE, even the valleys as well. We'll be watching for tomorrow afternoon some isolated pop-up shower storms throughout parts of the mountains and high desert locations, but as we continue throughout the rest of the week, looking a lot better. I'll look at the 7-day forecast as we continue the rest of the week here. Temperatures remaining below normal. Low 80s, upper 70s for the basin, Orange County. Temperatures in the 70s for the coast. And again, starting up the mornings with the low clouds and fog. And then we'll see some peaks of sunshine in the afternoon hours. For the valleys, temperatures in the 80s with plenty of sunshine, especially later on in the week here. Also for the Inland Empire. For the high desert, the chance of some shower storm activity for tomorrow, but then we start to get into a much quieter weather pattern. Looking pretty good for the low desert. Temperatures in the 90s, upper 90s at times. And then for our mountains, we do have the chance for a shower storm tomorrow, but then looking a lot better as we continue throughout the rest of the week with temperatures in the 60s. Michael, we'll come back right after the break.
Can't find Days of Our Lives? It's now exclusively on Peacock TV. If you're new to Peacock, sign up to watch at peacocktv.com. Be sure to get the premium tier. New premium customers can sign up for just $1.99 a month. If you need help or have concerns, call the customer care line at 855-597-1827 or go to peacocktv.com/help. Days of Our Lives. Same show you love. Now exclusively on Peacock TV. If you're new to Peacock, sign up to watch at peacocktv.com. Be sure to get the premium tier. New premium customers can sign up for just $1.99 a month. If you need help or have concerns, call the customer care line at 855-597-1827 or go to peacocktv.com/help. Days of Our Lives. Same show you love, new home.
A new purpose in the works for the former National Guard Armory in Highland Park here. The city of Los Angeles announced $1 million in federal funding to turn the armory on Bridewell Street into a youth arts center. Now, there's no specific timeline for the project just yet, but they're hoping to have this all completed and wrapped up within 3 to 4 years. Lots of changes coming to the Disney resort. We've learned 2 beloved characters will travel to a galaxy far, far away. Disney Parks released this new video of the Mandalorian and Grogu in November. They'll start meeting and greeting guests at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland. The new season of The Mandalorian premieres next year on Disney+. And Porto's is bringing their signature potato balls and other Cuban delicacies and delights to downtown Disney. An opening date hasn't been announced. Well, coming up next on the NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt, what NBC News has learned about who was behind the show of unity between Princes William and Harry. And Ukraine's shocking advance against Russia. NBC News is right there on the ground with what could mark a turning point in this war. Now we'll look inside the studio where Lester, you see him gearing up, getting ready for the NBC Nightly News that starts right now.
Tonight, the emotional solemn procession past crowds lining the